Pause. Before your thumb moves, before your mind says, later, listen to this very carefully. This message did not arrive by accident. Not by algorithm. Not by chance. Something ancient, something intentional, has been guiding you here quietly, patiently, waiting for the exact second your heart would be open enough to hear it. And now that you are here, do not rush. Do not skip. Because what is about to unfold is not about time on a clock. It is about time inside you. There are moments when heaven leans close. Moments when the noise fades, the past loosens its grip, and something lost begins to return. This is one of those moments. You may not realize it yet, but there has been a reversal happening beneath the surface of your life. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But steadily. God has been restoring something you thought was gone forever. Not your past. Not old memories. Not mistakes. Your youth. Not the shallow kind measured by mirrors or numbers. But the deep youth that lives in your eyes, your breath, your spirit, your hope. The kind that makes a person feel alive again. There was a time you woke up with energy, before doubt learned your name. Before disappointment taught you to be cautious. Before life convinced you to carry weight that was never meant to be yours. That version of you did not disappear. It was protected. Hidden. Reserved for now. You see, there are seasons where God allows time to press on us. Not to break us, but to prepare us. Every delay, every tired sigh, every silent prayer you thought went unanswered. None of it was wasted. You were not aging. You were ripening. And now comes the moment of renewal. Right now, as you listen, something is shifting. Your body hears words even when your mind doubts them. Your soul recognizes truth even when logic hesitates. That is why this feels different. This is not hype. This is not noise. This is recognition. God says, I am restoring what stress tried to steal. What sorrow tried to drain. What fear tried to harden. The lines etched by worry, loosening. The heaviness behind your eyes, lifting. The constant tiredness that sleep never fixed, fading. Not because you forced it, but because the season has changed. There is a reason people will soon look at you and say, something about you feels lighter. You look rested. You seem different. They won't know why. But you will. Because youth is not just about skin. It is about flow. And your flow was blocked for too long. God did not forget the joy you used to carry so easily. The laughter that came without effort. The confidence that didn't need permission. Those were not childish traits. They were divine ones. And they are being returned. You may have noticed small signs already. Moments where you felt unexpectedly calm. Where your reflection didn't feel like a stranger. Where your heart softened instead of tightening. Those were previews. This, right now, is the announcement. There is a restoration happening that cannot be rushed, faked, or copied. It is tailored specifically to you. That is why this message would not work for everyone. Only for those who stayed. Only for those who felt the pull and didn't scroll away. You were meant to hear this while still breathing in the weight of your old season. So you could recognize the contrast when it lifts. And it will lift. God is not turning you backward. He is renewing you forward. Giving you the clarity of youth with the wisdom of experience. The energy of hope without the blindness of naivety. The softness of belief without the fragility of before. This is why the restoration feels emotional. Why it touches something deeper than appearance. Because what is returning is your spark. The part of you that believed life could still surprise you. The part that trusted tomorrow without proof. The part that dreamed without apologizing. That part is waking up. And once it does, nothing stays the same. Stay with this. Let it sink. Do not hurry what is unfolding. Because this is only the beginning. Take a slow breath here. Not because this is emotional, but because something is aligning. There is a reason your attention is still here. Most people feel the pull. Then leave before the shift completes. You stayed. And that matters more than you know. Because restoration does not arrive all at once. It unfolds in layers. First in awareness. Then in belief. Then in visible change. Right now, you are crossing the awareness layer. God says, I am teaching your cells to remember joy. You may think that sounds symbolic, but it is deeper than poetry. Your body listens. Your breath listens. Your posture listens. Even your silence listens. For too long, your nervous system lived on alert. Always preparing, always bracing, always tired without knowing why. That is not age. That is survival. And survival mode accelerates time. But now, you are being called out of survival. And back into presence. Presence slows time. Presence restores youth. Have you noticed how children seem timeless? Not because they have fewer years, but because they are fully here. You are being returned to that state. Not as a child, but as a grounded, aware, powerful being. This is why your thoughts are beginning to soften. Why reactions don't grip you the way they used to. Why certain worries simply lose their voice. That is youth returning, not loudly, but confidently. God is recalibrating your rhythm. Sleep will begin to feel deeper. Your face will begin to relax when you're not trying. Your eyes will regain curiosity. And people around you will sense it before you explain it. Some will ask what you changed. You didn't change anything. You allowed something. There is a quiet instruction moving through this message. If you feel it, don't keep it locked inside your chest. Moments like this grow stronger when shared. Because truth multiplies when it is passed on gently. And if a thought rises in you, a realization, a feeling, a sudden calm, give it a voice. Not for validation, but because expression anchors transformation. Staying connected to messages like this matters too. not out of habit, but alignment. When restoration begins, guidance continues. This is not a single moment. It is a sequence. And you are inside it now. God says, I am not making you younger to relive the past. I am restoring you so you can step fully into what comes next. There is a chapter ahead of you that requires energy without tension, confidence without force, radiance without effort. That chapter is close. Closer than you think. Do not rush to see results. Restoration shows itself naturally. In the way you smile without planning it. In the way mirrors stop feeling confrontational. In the way your presence fills a room without noise. This is not imagination. This is alignment. And alignment always leaves evidence. Stay with me. Because what comes next explains why this had to happen now. There is something important you need to understand now. Restoration does not arrive randomly in life. It arrives on schedule. Not your schedule. Not the world's schedule. A divine one. God never restores youth when it would be wasted. He restores it when it will be used. That is why this is happening now, and not years ago, and not years later. You reached a point where wisdom was complete. But energy was running low. That imbalance was never meant to last. Too much wisdom without vitality becomes heaviness. Too much experience without renewal becomes exhaustion. So God intervened. Quietly. Without announcing it to the world. Because this restoration is not for applause. It is for alignment. You were carrying years that were not yours. Emotional years. Mental years. Invisible years. The kind that don't show on a calendar. But show on the shoulders. In the breath. In the pauses before speaking. Those years are being lifted. That is why your body may feel lighter at unexpected moments. Why silence feels less heavy than it used to. Why you are no longer rushing to explain yourself. Youth is not speed. Youth is ease. And ease is returning to you. God says, I am giving you back your natural state. Before comparison trained you to shrink. Before pressure taught you to tense. Before disappointment convinced you to armor your heart. You were not born tired. You learned tiredness. And anything learned can be released. Right now, your inner clock is being reset. Not backward. But true. You are stepping out of borrowed timelines. Out of expectations that never fit you. Out of standards that drained you without rewarding you. That is why your intuition feels sharper. Why you sense when to pause, and when to move. This is restoration with intelligence. Not reckless youth. Not blind optimism. But calm confidence. The kind that makes time work for you instead of against you. Soon, situations that once drained you will no longer demand effort. Conversations that once felt heavy will shorten naturally. Your energy will stop leaking into places it doesn't belong. That is youth reclaiming its boundaries. God is not just renewing how you look or feel. He is renewing how you choose. And choice is power. There is a reason this message keeps unfolding slowly. Your system is adjusting. Rushing would fracture the process. Let it integrate. Let your body catch up with your spirit. Because once alignment completes, you will notice something unmistakable. You will wake up one day and realize you are no longer counting years. You are counting moments. And moments feel alive. Stay present. The final layers are approaching. Stay right here. This is where everything settles. What you've been feeling until now was preparation. This, right now, is confirmation. God says, the restoration is sealed. Not as a promise for someday, but as a process already in motion. You don't chase this renewal. You carry it. That's why it feels calm instead of dramatic. Why it feels natural instead of forced. Why it doesn't need proof to exist. Youth, when restored by God, does not shout. It radiates. It changes the way you walk into rooms. The way people pause when you speak. The way opportunities begin to notice you without effort. Not because you demanded attention, but because alignment attracts recognition. There will be people who sense this shift and feel curious. Some will quietly listen. Some will want to understand what changed. And some, without realizing why, will feel encouraged simply by being near you. When that happens, don't dismiss it. Moments like this are meant to ripple outward. Truth carries weight when it moves from one heart to another. And when thoughts arise in you, insights, realizations, calm confidence, letting them be expressed anchors them deeper. Connection strengthens restoration. Remaining connected to messages that resonate with your spirit matters too. Not out of obligation, but because alignment grows when it is nurtured. God says, I am not restoring you to impress the world. I am restoring you so the world no longer drains you. From this point forward, you will notice subtle but undeniable shifts. Your reflection will feel kinder. Your laughter will arrive quicker. Your patience will feel less like effort and more like strength. You will stop bracing for impact and start moving with flow. This is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of the change. And the most beautiful part? You don't have to do anything to earn it. You already stayed. You already listened. You already aligned. Let it unfold. Because what God restores, time cannot take away. Now listen closely. This part is quiet, but it is powerful. There is a difference between feeling young and being restored. Feeling young comes and goes. Restoration stays. What God is doing in you now is not surface level. It is structural. He is rebuilding your inner posture toward life. For a long time, you leaned forward, as if always preparing for something to go wrong. As if joy needed permission. As if peace had to be justified. That posture slowly bends time against you. But now, something is straightening. Not forcefully, Gently. You may notice it in small moments. Standing without tension. Breathing without effort. Smiling without planning it. These are not habits. They are signals. Your system is returning to balance. God says, I am teaching you how to receive again. Youth is not only about giving energy. It is about receiving life without resistance. Somewhere along the way, you became very good at enduring. At holding. At pushing through. But endurance is not meant to be permanent. Restoration begins when endurance ends. That is why certain old thoughts no longer stick. Why some worries fade before finishing their sentence. Why you catch yourself choosing ease without guilt. This is not you becoming careless. This is you becoming aligned. Aligned people age differently. Time moves differently around them. Pressure doesn't accumulate, it passes through. You are entering that state now. And here is what matters most. Nothing is required from you. Let your body learn trust again. Let your mind rest without needing reasons. Let your heart open without scanning for danger. This is not vulnerability. This is safety. God does not restore youth where danger remains. He restores it where peace has been prepared. And peace is being prepared inside you. Soon, you will realize that the word age has lost its grip. It will feel irrelevant. Outdated. Small. Because you will no longer be measuring yourself against time. Time will begin adjusting to you. Stay present. Stay gentle with this moment. What is restoring itself now will define the years ahead. There is a reason this restoration feels quiet instead of overwhelming. True renewal does not rush in like a storm. It settles in like dawn. Slow. Certain. Unstoppable. God says, I am not borrowing energy from tomorrow. I am unlocking what was already placed within you. You were designed with reserves. Layers of strength, clarity, and vitality that only activate when the soul is ready to hold them. And now, you are ready. That is why you no longer feel the urge to prove yourself. Why comparison loses its grip. Why your presence feels complete without explanation. Youth is returning as self-trust. You trust your pace. You trust your timing. You trust your inner signals. And when trust returns, the body follows. Your face softens because it no longer needs defense. Your eyes brighten because they are no longer scanning for threats. Your voice steadies because it is no longer asking for permission. This is restoration expressed through ease. God says, I am teaching you how to move without resistance. Resistance accelerates where flow preserves life. You are stepping into flow. That is why moments seem to stretch now. Why time feels fuller instead of faster. Why even ordinary days feel quietly meaningful. Nothing extraordinary has to happen on the outside. For something extraordinary to be taking place within you. This is the kind of youth that doesn't fade under pressure. The kind that remains steady through seasons. The kind that deepens instead of disappearing. You are no longer fighting time. You are walking with it. And time recognizes those who walk with purpose. Soon, you will notice that people respond differently to you. Not because you changed who you are, but because you return to who you were always meant to be. Centered. Clear. Alive. Stay here in this awareness. Let it finish its work. Because the restoration is no longer beginning. It is becoming normal. And that is how you know it is real.